in the name of Allah, the most merciful and the most beneficent. Today we will discuss about research proposal writing, how we can write a research proposal, why we have to write a research proposal, what are the basic contents and themes of the research proposal. Students, if there will be any distortion in the voice or any technical issues, please let me know by raising your hand. So what is a research proposal? A research proposal sets out the broad topic of research, what the research would set out to achieve, aims and objectives, how to research it, methodology, how to undertake it within the time available, and what the results might be in relation to knowledge and understanding in the subject. Writing a research proposal is in actual a tough job. So in this we have to cover all the possible aspects, including the objectives, what we want to achieve in actual, which methodology we will follow to achieve those goals, and what will be the possible outcomes of that specific research, and how we can solve the problem statement with the hypothesis we have. So research refers to a search for knowledge. Research means a scientific and systematic search for potential information on a specific topic we choose for solving the problem. And in fact, research is an art of scientific investigation. The purpose of research is to discover answers to questions through the application of scientific procedures. So there are different types of research studies. For example, ex- formulative, exploratory, descriptive, diagnostic research, hypothesis testing. So we will know the basics of everyone, so we can classify our research work in which domain it is going to be fall. So if there will be some new phenomena to analyze or to hunt out, and to gain familiarity with the phenomena, or to achieve new insights into a research, is known as exploratory or formulative research studies. Meanwhile, if there is if we have to determine the specific characteristics of a specific individual or a situation or a group of people or a community, is known as descriptive research. To describe the frequency with which someone or occurs or with which it is associated with someone else, it is known as diagnostic research studies. So in which we have to diagnose some specific disease, or you can say specific task. And I hope you guys know about hypothesis. So when we test a hypothesis of a causal relationship between different variables, is known as hypothesis testing research studies. In descriptive research studies, usually we include different types of facts, figures, inquiries, surveys, and the main property of this descriptive research study, that the researcher has no control over the variable, the dominant variables there will be, and researcher can only generate the report, or you can say gather the data about that, what is happening and what will happen, how this happen, and which factors are involved. He cannot change the variables. However, in analytical research, is a researcher has to use different information or facts already available, and analyze the available information and data to make a logical conclusion. So here we have another type of research study, that is applied research. In applied research, we usually hunt out a specific result or solution for a problem that a society or a group of people is facing. So that is known as applied research. For example, nowadays we have a problem of COVID-19. So if a person is going to do some or is going to generate or a new vaccine for COVID-19, will fall in analytical it will fall in applied research. Gathering knowledge for knowledge sake is termed pure or basic research. So here we have two more types of research studies, that are attitude or opinion research study and empirical research study. In an attitude or opinion research study, a research is designed to hunt out how people feel or observe, and how people think, or how people take a specific subject in their mind or in their society. So this is known as attitude or opinion research studies. However, in empirical research study, data this empirical research study based on data, the data we have, or the experimental analysis or results we have, or experimental type of research is known as empirical research. Such research is thus characterized by the experimenters or researchers control over the variable under study, and this and he has the ability to manipulate or analyze the results with the effect of one variable to the other variable is known as empirical research study. So we also have some types including one time research or longitudinal research studies, field setting research or laboratory research studies, simulation research, clinical or diagnostic research, historical research, conclusion oriented and scene oriented research studies. If you guys observe it, the word itself, or the title or terminology of the research study itself explain what it is in actual, where we will go and with which study we will deal. So it's very important, you have to know that your research project is falling in which type of study, so you can follow the specific protocol of that specific study. So research proposal is a study that should have a proper proposal in a written form or on a paper properly before you are going to complete that research. It is likely a blueprint of a building plan before the construction starts. So writing a research proposal is both science and art. In actual, it is performing research is a science. However, writing a research paper or a research proposal is an art. So you should be a scientist and artist too. A good research proposal is based on scientific facts and figures extracted from experiments, and on the art of clear communication. To write a formal research proposal, you should start from the time one has decided to complete that topic or start their study specifically. So these points are very important, that you should be very clear about your objectives, and you should have the art of communication, art of writing, and your words should be very appropriate for research proposal. So purpose of a research proposal. A research proposal is intended to convince others. Who are others? Your readers, your audience, your subordinates, your seniors, your colleagues. So research are research proposal are a type of write up in which you will convince your audience that what you are going to do is in a right direction, or you are following the right protocol. So you have to pursue or convince your audience that you have a worthwhile research project in your hand. The idea is fine, and you have the ability to complete this work plan according the plan you are giving, or the abilities you have. The purpose of a research proposal is a type of selling your idea to the audience or the agency that will fund you. This means that the investigator must have the ability to convince the funding agency and their colleagues and their audience. The problem in this is significant and worthy of study. The technical approach is novel. The technical approach you are going to follow should be novel and likely to produce good logical outcomes. and the researcher and the team, if he or she is working in a team, should be in right direction of experiments, and the idea should be clear, the objectives should be achievable, and the researcher should have trust on his team that his team will complete this in a due time. So what are the basic elements of a research proposal? First of all, we have a title. Title should be attractive, catchy, and precise. Title should explain that the reader that what you are going to do. Usually, if in the first glance, and the audience or the other researcher just read the title. If the title is relevant, if the title is catchy, attractive, explaining the main facts or explaining the theme of the research, then the research other colleagues or the audience will read it. So title is very important. After that, we have objective. For objectives should be clear, objectives should be achievable, and objectives should properly mention in the at the appropriate position in the research proposal. After that, we have abstract. Abstract is a summary of the work you want to perform. Then table of content, you can skip it, it's optional. However, if you are mentioning the table of content, then you have to inform that which contents you are going to cover. Then introduction, that is the background knowledge, that what already data available on that specific topic, how many people work on it recently, what advancement has made in this, and how this previous study is involved in your idea. And then the most important problem statement will also be there, and review of the related literature, similar to like background and introduction. Then we have methodology. In methodology, you have to explain all the methods and materials you are going to use, and on which concentration, which quantity, which protocol you will use it, and what will be the results of those using apparatus. And if you are going to do computational analysis, then you have to mention the softwares and tools and how it works, what is the principle, why you are going to use it, which parameters and threshold values you will use will also be included in methodology. Then ethical and legal considerations, this is also an optional section, as if you are working on human or clinical trials or this type of any study that has some ethical and legal issues, then you will write it. And if you are working on computational analysis, or you can say computational drug designing, then you can skip this one. Then you have to give the time schedule that if your project is of 3 years, then that what you will do in first 3 months, second 3 months, first year achievement, second year, third year. So you have to explain it in detail, that which time schedule you will use, and which results you will achieve during this time schedule. Then you have to explain the budget, from where the money will come and where the money will go. And then you have to give the references or bibliography that will explain everything, that will cite that from where you study and from where you read the literature. So title should reflect the well-defined aims of the research, should be concrete, it should be concise, descriptive, informative, and catchy. Titles should clearly indicate the independent and dependent variables. The title provides the keywords for the classification and indexing of the project. It is important to specify that populations or universe will be investigated in this specific research. So objective is very important. You should have be very careful while writing your objectives. Objectives should be measurable, objectives should be achievable. uh, don't no need to write so big ideas or objectives that you will grab the moon or this type of ideas. Just you have to write the achievable objectives that you know that you will achieve in this research project. So this is very important section, and everything else in this study is centered around it. The objective of the proposed study should be stated very clearly. Objectives should be specified, measurable, achievable, and try to avoid so many objectives. Just write two or three main objectives that you can conclude, and if there is small objectives, you can ignore it. But however, you will achieve it. So. In the objective sections, you should be very careful while writing it. After that, we have research objectives. It's similar to the objective section, that what will be your research objectives, that you will summarize the research and achieve that specific research objective you just wrote down in your introduction section, and your objectives should reconcile to the problem statement. Your problem statement will be clear that this is the in actual, that like in COVID-19 we have a problem. COVID-19 is in actual a problem. So this is a problem statement, and we have to solve this statement. We have to generate a vaccine, or we have to save the people from this deadliest disease. So the objective should be straight like that we will save the people, we will generate a vaccine in actual. So that will be the general goal in actual. Researchers should have to achieve the study in general terms. Specific objectives should systematically address the various aspects of the problem as defined under problem statement, and key factors that are assumed to influence or cause the problem. So now we jump on abstract. We already discussed about that. The abstract is the summary of the whole concept that we are going to present, and when the reader will read the abstract, it will get the main theme and purpose that will include two or three lines of background knowledge, one or two lines of methodology, then 3 to 4 lines of results, and then one or two lines of conclusion and future prospects. So the abstract should explain all the main theme, all the summary of the research project. So given problem, objectives, methodology, conclusion, everything should be there in abstract sequentially. After that, our abstract section, we will have the introduction section, in which we will write down the previously reported information about that specific topic we are going to address, and how the other people work on that, which gaps they just give to us for working, and how we will give the how we will fill that gaps, and next and that will be in all in introduction section. Including the most important point is the problem statement. The problem should be stated in such a way that its importance and relevancy is realized by everyone while reading it. So introduction should not be longer than 2 pages. Try to summarize the introduction in 2 or less than 2 pages. So here we have Wilkinson's idea that he published in 1991 at the page number 96. The introduction is the part of the paper that provides readers with the background information for the research reported in the paper. Its purpose is to establish a framework for the research so that readers can understand how it is related to other research. Background of the study, as we already discussed, it helps the investigator to gain good knowledge in the specific domain you are going to work, what is already available on that specific topic, and what we have to hunt out for. That extensive literature review should be mentioned in background knowledge, and it will help the investigator or the researcher to dig out more different methodologies that he could be applied in this research work. And it is important to make it relevant and easy to read for the audience. Most important point is the problem statement, that the problem statement will be the soul of your research project in actual. Usually people after title, usually people just study the problem statement. If the problem statement is in right direction or covering the huge community, then the people will read your research proposal or accept your research proposal. The problem statement in actual describe the context of the study and also identifies the general analysis approach. A problem statement is a clear description of the issues, includes a vision, issue statement, and method used to solve the problem. The 5 W's can be used to spark the discussion about the problem. I hope you guys know about 5 W's: what, why, where, how, and the fifth one, what, why, where, how, which. So these are the 5 W's, and if you will use that 5 W's to make it more catchy or sparking for your discussion, like what is happening, why it is happening, which factors are involved, and these types of questions you can add with the help of 5 W's. A problem statement express the words that will be used to keep the effort focused, and it should represent a solvable problem. Now, so we have the 5 W's here. Forming a problem statement, how we can generate it with the help of 5 W's, like who, anyone under the age of 18 who is using drugs in the community. When, where they will use the drug: in schools, in colleges, and at home on weekends. And where: in the parking lots, shopping malls. What will happen, what in actual they are going to use for the drugs, like marijuana, and sniffing glues, and different types of drugs available. And what, why they just do it, like they think that it will help them for good work, or the drugs will give them comforts, they think that. So that's why they used it. So this way we can generate a specific problem statement. So research hypothesis is the another important section. In actual, all the sections have their own importance. After problem statement, we have research hypothesis. If you guys remember that, what is a hypothesis? In hypothesis, we have two sides of the coin, you can say, and we have to work on the hypothesis. Based on the experience of the study problem, it might be possible to develop explanations for the problem, which can then be tested. If so, you can formulate hypotheses in addition to the objectives of the study. A hypothesis is a specific type of prediction for a relationship between two different factors you are going to study and the problem statement under that specific study. A hypothesis is the clear declarative representation of the statement for the relationship between two different types of variables. Then we have the methodology section. In methodology section, we just mentioned the sequential use of materials and methods for that whole study, how we will do that specific study. If you are going to do computational analysis, then you have to mention all the software, databases, servers you are going to use, and why you will use that, how you will use that. And it is necessary for a researcher to know that which specific methodology will be more effective to perform this research, and will get the logical conclusion with the help of that specific methodology. Okay, in methodology, first we have to design the study. Then, if you are working on population and samples, like you are going to take the blood samples of hepatitis patient, or maybe you can say diabetic patients, and then you know about the research instruments you are going to use, and you should know about the reliability of the instruments, and type of data collection, and how you will analyze that data. In research design, a study design is a specific plan or protocol for conducting the study, which allows the investigator to translate the conceptual hypothesis into an operational one. Design a description of the approach to be used to reach the specific objective of the study you designed to achieve. So clearly indicate the type of methods you are going to use, which method you will use for the data collection, how you will analyze the data will be quantitative or qualitative, and which appropriate techniques will help you to solve that data. So these all should be included in research design, and your research design should be clear for the audience, so they can reuse that specific methodology for other similar type of experiments. And if you are going to work on population, then you have to take the population, take the samples randomly, not specifically from the population. You have to take the sample randomly so that your research project or research proposal will be more effective and authenticated. And sample size should be much enough that you can give some specific result for a specific community. If there is a people of 1 lakh, a specific community has a people 1 lakh, and you are just taking 10 people as a sample, it will be not, the sample size will not be good. So you have to take a handsome number of samples for randomly to give a specific conclusion. Description of process proposal should include the detail of all process to be adopted in the study. How exposures, outcomes, variables, and other variables are going to be measured should be described in detail in your proposal and in the methodology section of that specific proposal. A brief description of how you will analyze the data, how you will process the data, how you will use the statistical analysis, like which specific statistical analysis you will perform, anolia, not sort sorry anolia, different we have like one way ANOVA, two-way ANOVA, student t-test, and these types of different statistical tests you have to know about your analysis. The apparatus and instruments to use in research studies should list down and check the feasibility. If you are working on a computational analysis, that which softwares are freely available, you can use it or not. Your specific working machine will support it or not. So you have to check all these specific sections before taking that instrument or software for your research. And if you are involved in human research, then you have to mention the ethical and legal considerations, and you have to you have to explain it in detail in your methodology. If you are taking blood from the people, you have to inform them, you have to take consent from your patients that you are going to publish that, or you are going to inform other people about your disease. So you have to give you have to take consent from the persons, and you have to inform them in detail, and you don't need to force the people to give you the samples. It should be the voluntary act of the persons. So try to follow these. And the most important point, you have to be very clear and confidential about that. Don't try to you can publish it with the name that we take samples of 1000 people from ABC community, but you are not allowed to specifically mention the name of that specific person from where you take the blood, if they don't allow, and usually they don't. So you should be very careful about that, and it is very confidential information, so be careful about that. Then we have a time schedule. It's very important. Then you have to give the time schedule of your research proposal, that at which time you will complete it, and you have to complete in that specific time. And which task and which specific portion you will perform in that specific schedule, that what you will do in first year, then second year, or first 3 months, or second 3 months. So you have to be very careful about that, and mention in detail about the planning, about the task, about the achievable objectives of that specific time schedule. So the proposal should include the sequence of tasks to be performed, anticipated length of time required for its completion, and the personnel required. It can be presented in tabular or graphic form. Flowcharts and other diagrams are often useful for highlighting the sequencing and interrelationship of different activities in the studies. So, what facilities we have? The proposal should also include the important facilities required or available in your laboratory, like computers, like equipments, different types of equipments or machines you have or not to perform that specific research proposal. And if you don't have, then from where you will get that. Proposal should include who are the primary investigator, that you will be the primary investigator, and which team you will include, and how much research experience they have, and what expertise they perform or they gain in their past years. You know that, and you have to mention that. Then you have to mention the budget. The budget translates project activities into monetary terms. It is stated of how much money will be required to accomplish that specific research proposal and achieve the objective, and how you will spend that money. in bibliography is very important. References should be written in a specific format given, or usually we just when cover style use when cover style. However, every journal has their own specific style, or every research proposal have their own specific style, or a funding agency. So you should be very careful about that. Cite the references in the text and also in the references section. So the most important point is plagiarism. Try not to do plagiarism. Avoid plagiarism. Plagiarism is presenting someone else's idea or words as though they were your own. So if you are taking some data from someone, just write it in your own words and cite his or her name or her research work or her idea. Don't try to put or place your name in on other ideas, on other words. It is very unethical, very illegal, very unprofessional. So be careful about that. Don't copy from others. You can discuss with others, you can take ideas from others in discussion, but mention his or her name, acknowledge him or her, give appreciation. Don't do plagiarism. It will be very dangerous. Thank you so much, everyone. If you have any question, please raise your hand. Otherwise, we will close this session. It's very important topic, and it will help if you just want to take your career long in research. Then you should know all these points, specifically the plagiarism section. Don't do plagiarism. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining.